Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are having a look at Taylor Swift and potential SEO manipulation. I want to have a look at what are all these headlines that are suddenly hitting the press in the last 22 hours? Are they a PR strategy? Is her PR team and Camp Taylor Swift bracing for bad PR or something hitting the headlines? I'm going to say yes, based on what I'm seeing, but let's dive in together. And then we're also going to look at a couple articles that are breaking down the Blake Lively versus Wayfair Studios hearing that happened yesterday. Now, we are waiting for the judge's final order on the protection order. I'm not a lawyer, but from recapping with lawyers on the case, I'm leaning towards the potential that is going to be denied. And just saying, based on what I'm seeing from Camp Taylor, I think her team's kind of bracing for it too. But let's dive in. Now, for those new to the channel, my background is in both psychology and branding and marketing. So helping brands, particularly public figures, build personal brands in the online space in the last, 6 years or so. I've combined my background in psychology with my knowledge in training and branding and marketing to help people build powerful brands and stand out. And I'm bringing that to you guys to understand pop culture, power, and media manipulation. And I want to dive into this before we look at what's actually happening in the headlines today. We're gonna go on a walk down memory lane. This hit the headlines end of 2024. This is something that's been talked about in regards to Taylor Swift in the past. This isn't something new. And it's also not just Taylor. I get so much pushback around Taylor, Saint Taylor. Taylor can do nothing wrong, Taylor. It's not just her. So I pulled up this headline on purpose. Taylor Swift jets and Disney's Frozen, the unique ways SEO can be used. Now, SEO is search engine optimization. So if you go to Google and you type in Taylor Swift news, what populates at the top? Very rarely is that organic when we're looking at public figures, especially if you start to see certain red flags I'm going to show you today, which is like in the last 22 hours, there's multiple news stories being run for Taylor, which include the potential of Taylor and Travis getting married, right? That's being pushed. And another news story that's being pushed is apparently a scam that happened in regards to Taylor's tickets. That's being pushed as well. So both of these big stories are being pushed to the front of the headlines right now. And interestingly enough, what's being pushed down is it Wes Bergman? I think that's his name off the top of my head. The controversy he had in regards to the timeline of Taylor and Travis's relationship, that's being pushed down. I think it's the fourth thing now that populates as well. Nowhere in the top of the news are you seeing connection anywhere to Blake Lively or Justin Baldoni. So it's working. Actually, number one that I'm starting to see trend is the Kelce, I can't think of her name. We'll get there. Anyway, the wife of Travis Kelce's brother, she's been hitting every outlet saying wonderful things about Taylor, and that's trending as well. However, again, this isn't just Taylor. This is narrative control that's used by large businesses and corporations. And Taylor, what I think we have to understand, isn't just Taylor anymore. She's a brand. She's a business. She's essentially a corporation. And every time you see her or you see news about her, whether it's donations, whether it's, where she puts her dancers up in hotels on vacation, or on the tour, any of that, it's all intentional. If you see Taylor or you have news on Taylor, Tree Payne is behind it. And I don't say that as a slight. It's a very curated brand. Everything that needs to come out about her or everything that does come out is fitting a certain narrative. I honestly believe that Blake and Ryan could benefit from having asked Taylor to borrow Tree from the beginning, because I really don't believe it gets better than Tree Payne, to be quite honest. She's masterful. I think they're losing control of the narrative right now, and you could blame Blake, but if hypothetically Taylor is as involved as it's being alleged, then why should Blake be blamed for Taylor inserting herself in the middle of it, right? And we don't know fully. I'm not saying Taylor did. I'm just saying we don't know fully. But how her team is reacting, I'm going to say I just sense that there is a little bit of a bracing that something's going to happen. Now, another thing I want to say, If you or I, so you're building a business online, does SEO manipulation work for you? No, 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 no. No, average person, of course it doesn't. Don't be so silly that you have that power. It doesn't. In fact, SEO manipulation is against the rules. If you were to post, say I write a blog for my website and I post it on my blog and then I go to LinkedIn and I try to post it as an article on LinkedIn. I mean, you can do that, but you actually get penalized in the algorithm and with SEO. So both of those articles, instead of them both trending or one trending, they both get pushed down the algorithm because it's seen as you trying to manipulate the algorithm and manipulate SEO. But celebrities can do this. It's wild. All right. In the vast and complex world of digital reputation management, that's essentially what SEO manipulation is. It's narrative control, reputation management. Google search results play a crucial role. And I'm just showing you guys this article. The power of a brand's online image can dictate its success or failure. I don't think a lot of people that aren't in the branding and marketing world realize how curated it is. It is so curated. Thus, it's hardly surprising that PR strategies might go to great lengths, including allegedly engineering incidents to manipulate search rankings and push unfavorable stories out of the spotlight. So this is something I've been talking about, and I've been invited to speak on this with someone that this channel knows and loves, but you'll have to wait for more news on that. With the advent of deep fake technology in the murky waters of the internet, not everything is as it seems. So some conspiracy theories suggest that incidents involving big names like Taylor Swift and Walt Disney are fabricated for SEO benefits. Let's explore these intriguing SEO conspiracy theories and delve into how they supposedly work. Conspiracy theories. All right. What are these SEO conspiracy theories? SEO conspiracies involve creating incidents that utilize specific keywords to bury negative stories under Google's search algorithm. So I think they're calling it conspiracy theories, to be quite honest, to protect themselves, because everyone knows it's done. It's not a secret. For instance, if a celebrity were involved in an embarrassing incident like slipping on a banana peel, I love they use that, they might stage a positive event involving a banana peel to overwrite the negative search results. Now, one of the most famous ones for Taylor is her jets. Last year, Taylor Swift was at the center of an internet storm due to her excessive private jet usage. Searching Taylor Swift jet once surfaced a plethora of negative headlines. However, Swift soon appeared at a New York Jets game, coincidentally, as she was beginning to date Travis Kelce, a player for the Kansas Chiefs, who was playing in the game. Interestingly, the headlines were skewed to highlight Jets more than Chiefs. So when you would see typically Taylor at a supporting Travis, it would be Taylor and Travis or Chiefs. And coincidentally, for this game, every headline had Jets. Was it a strategic move to manipulate SEO or just a coincidence? The timing was impeccable, but the effect was temporary as the stories of her continued jet use eventually took precedence again. And that's the thing we have to keep in mind. I had someone say to me on a TikTok video recently, and they're like, it was a video that I think was 3 or 4 days long, and 3 or 4 days old. And they said, well, I just did it, and that's not what's trending. Well, this is the problem. And this is the challenge for PR teams and for branding and marketing is the news cycle is so short now. Attention spans are so short. We have so much information at our fingertips. Sleuths, citizen journalists are out there uncovering a bunch of stuff where, in half a day, in a day, absolutely, it's going to shift. It moves so fast now, the news cycle. So that's how it happened then. And then what you tend to see now with Taylor is it's not necessarily that. What you'll see is, for example, if there's a lot of stories starting to be pushed, and I know all this because I've studied her for branding. When I'm teaching others about branding and trying to help, I've created a lot of courses around it, help people understand how to build a brand. I've used her as an example. So I've studied her for a very long time, and she's a branding and business genius. I believe she understood from day one what she was doing, from attending weddings and fan events to being very active on social media, like all of it. And I don't say that with a slight. Chef's kiss, genius business move. So when we're looking at Taylor Swift and kind of the trajectory that she's taken for things like this, what she started to get was pushback around her private jet use. and also the amount of money she was making. So she started to get pushback around knocking other women off the charts, for example, like blocking, I think people were calling it, blocking other women from the charts. If you tracked the news cycle, if something like that came out, almost immediately you heard a positive story about her donating to food banks, her giving her drivers raises, the 5-star hotels that her staff were staying at on tour. And I'm not saying good for Taylor. That is amazing. And what we also have to understand is the PR behind it, right? And so we also saw this when it kind of came out, her involvement with this whole thing. It hit the news. There was bad news coming out about Taylor. And within 12 hours, she made a post on her Instagram saying, hey guys, make sure to donate to the wildfires. Here are the 10 charities I donated to. And she listed all of them. So one, we can see that Taylor donates to charities without it becoming public knowledge if she had in fact donated prior to all the shitstorm with her involvement with Blake and It Ends With Us. She can donate. She can do things in silence. Things can be done without people knowing. So what we have to start training our brain, not just in terms of Taylor, but politicians, big corporations, businesses, etc., is what is the intention behind this? Like what's going on behind this? And it doesn't mean that now you don't like someone. It's just you're aware, right? You're able to critically think about it. So we got this bad news in regards to Taylor and Blake and the involvement. She says, these are the organizations that I had donated to. So now in the headlines, and I wish I still had those screenshots, but in the headlines, what ended up happening is the headlines were initially Blake Lively, Taylor Swift, her dragon, and then all the headlines within hours after her making that post on Instagram where Taylor Swift donates to 10 organizations to help wildfires. This is the game. All right. One more quick article that we'll look at is, again, Taylor Swift, clever SEO tricks, Swift engine optimization tailored to the needs of celebrities. I love what they did with that headline, by the way. The wordplay there was pretty good. That's good. Let's read it again. I didn't appreciate it at first glance. Taylor Swift's clever SEO trick, Swift engine optimization tailored to the needs of celebrities. That is clever. I really like that. I appreciate good wordplay. So this was October 4th, 2023. How did Taylor Swift take advantage of the SEO for promotion? Read about Taylor's private jet scandal, which had a huge impact on increasing, it was mutually beneficial, visibility of her boyfriend's sport team. Learn methods to significantly increase the visibility of specific phrases. So again, we're looking into what happened in regards to the Swift engine optimization. That is just so I am reading that in real time. Or realizing that in real time, it never digested how clever this was. What Taylor Swift did was show up at a New York Jets football game. Perhaps it is because she is rumored to date their player, Travis Kelce. I think they just misspoke there or just didn't fully explain. But by doing so, she skillfully decreased the impact of her aircraft scandal, which, if when you clarify here that he actually wasn't on the New York Jets, she showed up to the game, but he's actually on the Chiefs, which makes you again question, why were the headlines all about the Jets? It makes it even more impactful rather than it, I think just that they missed a couple words there. So while I enjoy the Swift engine optimization, we could have been a bit more careful there. As you might have already deducted, all lies in the name of the football team, New York Jets. By showing up to their game, the superstar attracted attention, thus pushing many websites to publish articles about it and her rumored boyfriend. These posts led to a major change. So we're seeing major changes in what was happening with SEO and what was being pushed by the media. Before, when you typed in Taylor Swift Jets, you get a plethora of articles about the scandal. But after she posted it, or after she went to the game, so now you're more likely to be exposed to the posts relating to this particular game, though the situation is rapid. In this one clever way, the superstar managed to cover her scandal and effectively reduce the risk more people learned about it. So yes, this is something that's happened previously. Is this method successful? People usually search with short phrases, which in the end means that yes, this method is effective. However, it won't ever cover all the negative attention, but it can still decrease the reach of the news about scandals. All right, now let's look at what's happening now. Now, looking at what is trending for Taylor right now, if you just type in Taylor Swift news, this is how I always start the day is I'll type in any stories I'm following, just that person's name in news to see what is trending, or sometimes just their name. Rather than, for example, if you type in Blake Lively and Taylor Swift, obviously you're going to get more stories about Blake Lively and Taylor Swift, right? So just to give context in regards to that. That's her name, Kylie. I don't know why. Kept wanting to call her Kelce, or I don't even know. Kelce's last name. Anyway, we're just going to roll with it. I'm not a football fan. The number one trending story right now. So if you've been paying attention, I don't follow any of these people on social media, yet I keep getting suggested posts in Facebook in regards to Kelce, or damn it, Kylie Kelce. Kylie Kelce. It's actually a nice name. It flows. But anyway, Kylie Kelce. I keep getting pushed as suggested posts that Kylie Kelce is saying all these wonderful things about Taylor. This is something that keeps showing up in my feed over and over and over again, even though I've never actually clicked on anything for her. I don't follow her. I don't follow any of the sports podcasts that she's on or any of the podcasts she's on in regards to this, but it keeps getting pushed in my feed. All of these positive things that are being said in regards to Taylor from Kylie. She's providing these rare insights into her relationship. She thinks her drive is incredible. She has this great work ethic. And again, keep in mind those very similar words when they're being used. Interestingly enough, what you're going to see is everything's really amping up in the last, I'd say 20 to 22 hours. So when we're starting to see multiple headlines hit the news like this in the last 20 to 22 hours, it's exactly the same time frame. It does give more of a feeling that it's engineered. Why is all of this coming out at once? Why is Kylie being pushed into my news feed? Why is everything I see in suggested reels right now Kylie talking about Taylor, right? That's when you start to go, The other headlines that are, the second one is hackers arrested for allegedly stealing Taylor Swift tickets. Again, look at 23 hours, 20 hours, 20 hours, 18 hours, 1 day ago. This is all within the last 20 to 22 hours. Cybercrime crew stole $635,000 in Taylor Swift concert tickets. 2 arrested for massive cyber theft involving hundreds of Taylor Swift Eras tickets. 2 people charged with Taylor Swift Eras ticket scam that allegedly netted more than, apparently going to say, I imagine, $635,000. Cybercrime crew made over $600,000 reselling stolen Taylor Swift tickets. And I'm not saying that this would or would not be news. Maybe I'm just going to click on one and see. The Queen's DA office claims that the defendants exploited high-profile events to profit at the expense of others. 2 people have been arrested after allegedly helping to steal more than 900 tickets, a majority of which were for Taylor Swift Eras tour. So it's not just her, which is very interesting. I wonder who else it is. The Office of Queen's District Attorney Melinda Katz announced that Tyrone Rose, 20 of Kingston, Jamaica, and Shamara P. Simmons, 31 of Jamaica, Queens in New York, were arrested on Thursday, February 27th. And charged with grand larceny in the 2nd degree, computer tampering in the 1st degree, conspiring in the 4th degree, and computer tampering in the 4th degree. According to the charges, these defendants tried to use the popularity of Taylor Swift's concert tour and other high-profile events to profit at the expense of others. So this was actually news on the 27th of February. Not to say that it couldn't possibly have not been picked up until after Taylor and Travis's relationship timeline comes into question, and now there's this looming protective order. I'm not saying that is 100% that no one picked it up. It's just very interesting to me that this arrest wasn't like yesterday. Queen's DA office noted that their investigation found the scheme took place between June 2022 and July 2023. Sometimes my brain works faster than my mouth. ADHD. Swift's production company, Taylor Swift Touring, previously confirmed to the New York Times that over 10 million people attending the Eras Tour, and that sold over $2 billion in ticket sales, making it the best-selling tour of all time and double the gross ticket sales of any other tour in history. So we have to also get that in. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying 100% that it's just weird. This is the thing I always look at with SEO manipulation, just like the Jets game. Could Taylor have just been going to the Jets game and it's just odd that every headline had Taylor Swift and Jets in it rather than Taylor Swift and boyfriend Travis Kelce of the Chiefs? It's weird, right? That's all I'm saying. It's weird. It does make you think that there's something going on. Interestingly, though, the third headline is Taylor Swift and boyfriend Travis Kelce. And this is coming out around the same time. And it's all about Taylor Swift fantasy bubble has reportedly been popped after Travis Kelce announcement. He snapped at Taylor and they had their first fight. Travis Kelce takes out his frustration. He was hesitant. Taylor Swift's moment with Travis Kelce sparked speculation. Let's go with Hello Magazine. See what they have to say. I haven't looked into these yet. Okay, yes. So this did just happen. I saw it in my news timeline. I think it was yesterday that he confirmed he's not retiring. Let's see what they have to say about this. Travis Kelce opened up about his decision to stick with the Kansas City Chiefs for the 2025 season after confirming last month that he's not retiring from the NFL. I can't even imagine. I'm a few years older than him, but I cannot even imagine playing at that level with the aches and pains that come at my age. I remember, I'm going to tell you guys a little story, when I was competing in CrossFit. I mean, I could do anything back in the day and bounce back like nothing. Today, I move out of my chair too wrong or lift up a weight slightly wrong and I blow up my back and it's sore to get out of bed in the morning. I cannot even imagine. I mean, good for him playing at this level older. I remember, again, when I was in CrossFit and they called the masters, I think it's 35 and older. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you over the hill at 35? Yes, for sports you are. You absolutely are. So good for him. The tight end 35 will now spend at least the next year in his $6 million mansion in a gated community in Leawood. So what does that decision mean for his relationship for Swift? Now that Travis has confirmed his home base for the foreseeable future, he and Taylor will likely continue to travel back and forth between his home in Kansas and Taylor's mansion or main residence in New York City. Okay, yeah, they went public. She's frequent at their games. When they're together, they split their time between New York City and Kansas. I mean, I'm not really seeing anything. Not really seeing anything here. Taylor has a huge $150 million property portfolio. That is impressive, but she doesn't own a residence in KC, and it remains to be seen if she'll permanently relocate to be closer to Travis. All right, so there's not really much there. These headlines are just, yeah. This one here with he snapped at Taylor. This one I did kind of skim through, and it's pulling some headlines as well that have been making March 3rd, 2025. This one, Barstool Sports report people close to Taylor Swift are telling her to dump Travis Kelce to protect her brand after the booing she got at the Super Bowl. So it does look like she's getting a little bit of pushback. I'm just going to leave it for now. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Now it's saying that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship was strained after the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Las Vegas Raiders on Christmas 2023, leading to their first argument as Kelce's stress from the loss caused him to be short with Swift. So they're starting to give like a timeline of apparently problems that Taylor and Travis have had leading up to today, showing that apparently, allegedly, people are encouraging her to leave him. Now, we saw this with also Blake Lively. There were people reaching out to me that apparently 6 degrees of separation from the Chiefs, saying that she was also being encouraged to drop Blake because of the potential issues that might blow up in her face in regards to her brand. So I don't know. That's what Barstool Sports is saying, and that's what they posted, it looks like, on, I'm assuming X. Looks like an X post. Be interesting to see. So that was making the headlines as well, but those aren't really big news. The next one that we're seeing is Stephen A. Smith predicts Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Guys, man, I don't think I took my ADHD meds today. And that's just hitting me in real time. There you go. That's why I can't talk. All right. Stephen A. Smith, let's try this again, predicts Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I don't know why a word in front of Kelce is so hard for my brain. Wedding in 2025. This is another one that's really going hard on the headlines today. Is Stephen A. Smith predicts Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift marriage in 2025. Stephen A. Smith's hot take on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift wedding. He predicts they'll get married this year. Stephen A. Smith thinks Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will get married this year. Like, again, when we're seeing those headlines over and over and over and over again, it's the exact same headlines. That's what makes me a little bit curious that something's going on there. But this is also where curiosity really gets me. Okay. So we have Kylie, there we go, Kelce and Taylor Swift, the hackers. I mean, was going to be news regardless, to be honest. The Travis and Taylor, like, what does this mean for the relationship with him saying he's going back to the NFL? He's not retiring. That was going to be news regardless. There was really no way to get around that because I think that was within the last 24 hours that happened. So that doesn't surprise me because it actually was in the last 24 hours that was posted. Doesn't surprise me that it's at the top. This Stephen A. Smith prediction, again, look at this, last 21 hours, 23 hours, one day, 21 hours, around the exact same time that we're seeing this push for Kylie, 20 hours, 11 hours, one day, 17 hours. But this is what really interests me. Look how far down Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship timeline is. What was that, fourth down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 5. So there was a lot of controversy with Wes Bergman saying that Taylor and Travis had started dating 6 months before it went public. The reason why that's so controversial is it takes into account and has the potential to negate the really cute bracelet story where he left her a bracelet with his number on it. And that was leaked on the New Heights podcast, which was smart PR on the New Heights podcast. Guys, I'm struggling today. I'm struggling. I need a day off. That is what I need. I need a day off, but Blake will not allow it because she keeps doing ridiculous things. My schedule with my clients does not allow it, but I need a day off. I need a nap. Okay. We're just going to roll with it. I'm not perfect. We're going to roll with it. And those that have ADHD also understand. Travis Kelce's neighbor was Wes Bergman. He was talking about how apparently they were together 6 months before. And again, that bracelet story is critical to the timeline. And you can't backtrack. Taylor and Travis can't backtrack on that. Like it was an Eras tour. It had a date attached to it. So when we're looking at how Wes's comments can impact the brand, well, the reality is it looks like Taylor and Travis lied for PR. And they've already been under fire for being a PR relationship. People have been assuming that for a very long time. So now you have someone that potentially could challenge the narrative and say, no, they actually are a PR couple. That story, at the very least, if it's true, the story around the bracelet is a lie and it starts to create cracks in her brand. So we do know that Wes had not really retracted his statement. It was basically, I said what I said, but I'll post this and say I misunderstood and I'm sorry. But his apology or retraction was basically, I said what I said. Now, what this looks like for me is one, yes, I think they wanted to push down the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift relationship timeline. Now it's number 5. There was no way to get around this. Then the news of the NFL, there was no way to get around that. That was going to be news regardless. People were going to speculate. There might be sources that come out to say, well, this is causing issues in the relationship and they already had issues anyway. In the one article, they were tracking some issues that they had together in the past. So that was inevitable. But you can see how what could potentially be PR was all happening within the last day, right? And it's trending on Google. So that's what I tend to look at when we're looking at SEO manipulation. And again, she's not the only one that does this. People get so mad when I mention Taylor Swift's name. She's not the only one that does this. But why also might she be doing this? Let's look at something else. The news from Blake Lively versus Wayfair Studios that came out yesterday And the main headline that was being run, which is also why I think there's a big push for good PR for Taylor, for positive, like wedding rumors. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a wedding at this point, or a baby or something. Wedding rumors, and the Kelces just think she's wonderful and she's fantastic and all this good stuff, right? It doesn't surprise me that that's being pushed also because of this. So we're looking at March 6, 2025 at 2 p.m. Eastern. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds fear Justin Baldoni can do irreparable harm if he leaks their private texts with celebs. I mean, let's be honest. Let's just call a spade, as the saying goes, I suppose. The main one's Taylor. She is a big time witness for Justin's camp. Yes, there's other celebs, I'm sure, but I don't see Justin and his team trying to go back 2.5 years like Blake did for everyone, their chihuahua, their sister, their neighbor, and, you know, the daughter of their 10th removed cousin from, you know, whatever. Justin and his team do not seem to be going after that. So if we look at the two teams and how they've been going about this, it seems like from what we've seen publicly, Justin and his team are more tailored. They're more narrowed, right? So when I see this, when I see celebs, honestly, I think Taylor. So the H2 headline, an attorney for Blake Lively argued that her marginal if they're marginal conversations, my friend, why are they going to cause irreparable harm? If you're just talking about the weather, if you're just saying, hey girl, how you doing? How was Travis's game last night? How does that cause irreparable harm? That's what I want to know. Marginal conversations with high profile individuals should not be part of court case. To me, this is downplaying it. Like, whatever, it's Taylor, but we're besties. So we're sharing things like you guys do with your friends. But if they're marginal, they're not going to create irreparable harm. If they find text messages of Blake and Taylor sharing fashion advice and what happened at the game last night, it's not going to be a problem. So what does people say? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' attorney are arguing that Justin Baldoni should not have access to the A-list couple's private text messages with other celebs for fear of leaking them to the public. On Thursday, March 6th, and did Blake not predict this would happen? I am very confused who she has advising her that she can go after 2.5 years worth of records for literally everyone, and then leak things, private things, Blake. So she can leak private things to the New York Times article, doctored text messages. But, okay. All right. She is so detached from reality. Hey. On Thursday, March 6th, attorneys for Lively 37 and her husband Reynolds, 48, as well as It Ends With Us director Baldoni, 41. He's 41, I would not have guessed. Consulted with Judge Louis J. Lyman over a dial-in hearing in regards to the ongoing suit. During the hearing, Lively's attorney, Meryl Gavernsky, oh man, I'm bad with names, petitioned Judge Lyman to only allow Baldoni's lawyers access to Lively and Reynolds' communications, not to Baldoni himself. There is a significant chance of irreparable harm if marginal conversations with high-profile individuals with no relevance to this case were to fall into the wrong hands. You think? Blake? The only one that seems to be leaking private text messages that are altered are you. You opened the gate. And then, yes, I understand that he then put her text messages and he put specific text messages on his timeline of events in his website as part of the court case. It's not like he was just sending them to the New York Times. That's a difference as well. Like, they are relevant. The ones Justin included were relevant to the court case and part of his lawsuit, part of his court documents. Blake's out here just sharing shit with the New York Times. Like, they just, whenever Blake and Ryan get mad about something or get paranoid about something, they're just telling on themselves for the shit they do. I really believe miserable people like this, people that do shady things, they just assume everyone else is shady like that. It's projections. They are so bad for my heart health. Back in January, Lively and Reynolds' famous friend Taylor Swift was mentioned in Baldoni's complaint against Lively, Reynolds, their publicist Leslie Sloan, and Sloan's PR firm Vision PR. Again, Blake opened the door. I don't understand how she thought she could do all of this and that no one should have a right to respond. It's very bizarre to me. Baldoni's attorney responded saying that Lively's attorneys should be required to file petitions for access to specific sensitive materials. Meanwhile, Lively's attorneys argued that they do need access to industry relevant materials that would help clear our client's name. The dispute is about whether a narrow category of already non-public information should be accessible only to attorneys rather than the parties, a spokesperson for Lively said in a statement to People. Well, I'm guessing Blake had access to all of the text messages. Also, when we're looking at this court case as well, and the New York Times article, the New York Times specifically said they went through thousands of pages of documents in regards to the case. So they had handed over apparently thousands of pages of articles, text messages, and emails to the New York Times. So I'm not a lawyer, but what do I feel in regards to this? I feel as though a lot of the PR we're seeing pushed for Taylor right now is showing that they may be bracing for something. I'm not saying that she's involved in a certain way, but either way, her involvement is bad PR. They don't want to be around this. And if that protection order for Taylor is denied, either way, this is bad news for Taylor. No matter her role in this, you don't want this near your brand. And so, one, I think there is this push of positive PR on Taylor's side intentionally. And two, I do think that it's very likely this protection order is going to be denied, which means what's the next step? Does Blake then step away and try to settle this case because she doesn't want Taylor's text messages to be leaked? When you look back at some of the transcripts or what I've been sent in regards to this hearing, you see a lot of talk of high profile individuals. They're talking about Taylor. This fight is over Taylor because Justin is specifically going to his team, not him specifically, but his team is going to go after the text messages and communication because she's directly involved. We see him talking about how she helped with hiring. Blake, we have evidence of Blake saying she was involved with every step of the process. Taylor was there that day at the condo, Blake and Ryan's condo. She is directly involved. We have text messages saying, Blake, I would have liked it even if you didn't have your dragons involved. We have Blake and Ryan referring to Taylor multiple times in text messages. So she is, whether Blake likes it or not, integrally tied to this case. And so when I see this, irreparable harm, celebs, marginal conversations with high profile individuals, the high profile word used over and over and over again, for me, they're talking about Taylor. And so what I see is her camp getting ahead of this with some positive news for Taylor, trying to dominate the headlines a bit. But I don't know, guys. I want to hear what you think in regards to what your predictions are in her involvement with this. I really believe that people will be shocked at who she is behind the scenes. And I don't say that as a slight. I say that to get to that level, there has to be a ruthlessness to you. And I believe when we're looking at irreparable harm, what they're talking about is to Taylor. That's what everything to me points to. And Taylor has had such a curated, crafted brand from day one that's been built around the every woman brand archetype that absolutely, even if text messages come out and she is involved, but it's not as if she was telling Blake to take him down, right? But she still had her fingers in it more than she's alleging. Could that do irreparable harm? I think it has the potential to, especially at a time where it looks like Wes is saying, no, her and Travis were together a lot longer than they've told us. So now you're starting to question the story of Taylor and Travis. You're starting to question the bracelet story, all the media that came out around it. Now you're saying, okay, she's more involved in this case than she had let on before, even if it's not like some big conspiracy she was involved in, but she just had her fingers in it more. Like, for example, say Blake said, hey, do you mind talking to Justin? Like, really pushing this for me? Like, I need your help. And she's like, yeah, no problem. Like, when's he going to be at your place? Blake's like, oh man, okay, perfect. So if you can swing by at this time, he's going to be there. And like, if you can just let him know, how great my story is and how great the rooftop scene is, that'd be great. Taylor's like, yeah, no problem. I got your back. You know, I always have your back. Right? Something that might not seem, as bad as her having her fingers in every step of the process, I think could do irreparable harm. But I want to hear, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And on that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.